In this demo, we will be looking at how to build a Power Apps to support folks working in logistics and supply chain, particularly useful for truck drivers who are delivering those goods either through sea, road, and air. I'm giving some examples for truck drivers to use these apps to effectively work on best possible routes, check on the status of the goods, and the delivery related to consignment details. It's a multi-fold app where a truck driver can use this, as well as folks who are in warehouse and distribution can also track the goods process and the availability of the goods and the status of those goods in transit. The solution components used in these apps are Bing Maps, TomTom map devices, Remote Assist and HoloLens to track the size of the container, Power Platform connectors, Power Apps, and Power BI for dashboard. Let's get into the demo and see how all these features being used in this app. I'm on my mobile device where the app is available. This is the homepage of the app used by the truck driver, plus it can also be used by people who are managing the assets in the warehouse. Let's head on into the app and see how all this works together. This app can be used offline as well, particularly useful for the truck drivers who are on the road, who are on the air and on the sea, where the transport mode is available and there is no internet. So they can update those status and other details when they don't have internet connections and work in offline mode. And when they get the network signal, they can update those data automatically so they don't have to key in all that stuff that they did while they were offline. There's five menus here. One is truck inventory, shipments, warehouse, and the other are trip card and location tracking. Every menu of these has different features, and we will see them one by one. If I go into the truck inventory, it gives me a highlight of the available truck inventory in my warehouse, and you could see the size of the truck in terms of the volume that it could hold. For example, it could hold 500 lbs, and some can hold 50 tons, and some can hold much larger weight. Like now, these are the weight loads of each of those trucks and the cargoes. You could use any cargoes that you are using. Could be your own company owned, co-owned in this case, cargo or DHL, FedEx, and stuff like that. And it gives an insight in terms of what these truckloads are carrying. And if you see when I keep selecting those trucks, you would see those data in here keeps changing, and that's an update for the truck drivers to know what they are carrying and where is the truck available in terms of duration of the service. As you can see, some trucks are available for 2 weeks and some for 1 year and things like that. So you get those insights to to understand the truck inventory and how it can be used for delivery of new goods and new consignment. It could be a month-on-month consignment that goes on the road, or it could be a on-demand consignment as well. You could actually book a new truck for certain consignment, and that's totally possible. I'm using Dataverse at the backend database to gather these details. Now let's go into the warehouse and see what details that are presented in warehouse module. And all these functionalities within one app. Ideally, you would want to break this into two or three or even four based on the user who are using this app. For demo purpose, I want to bring in every functionality in one app rather than jumping between two or three different apps. So this is more for the inventory manager or the warehouse manager to track the assets that's available in the godown or the warehouse and where it's going to be delivered and through the means of transport as well. And you can see at the bottom here, you would see the progress of the transport, whether it's stuck or is it yet to get started and stuff like that. And you could change these based on the values that you wanted to provide. It's configurable. You can add on those. And you saw the cargo details in the previous screen. And this is where you configure those cargo details. And you could use co-cargo as well, whatever that you want to, and that's totally fine. And you could update that. So this screen provides you with warehouse management details. The next one is all about shipments. So I talked about truck drivers on the road shipping those goods, and you could also move those goods or containers through ship and airlines. However, it won't be used by the truck driver. It would be used by the folks who are taking those delivery orders through ship and containers. And there is possibility. And as you can see, week on week, you could track those consignment as I click on the month and the dates. There are a few sample products in here listed, and the system also uses AI model and the machine learning based on the quantity, availability, and the location, the nearest location or the farthest location where the product is. And we do display that in terms of shortage or the forecast or the inbound, outbound detail. You could capture all these details as well from Dataverse. Now let's pick one of these products and see where it is in terms of inbound and outbound details. As you can see, on hand you have 45,000 of this product. The forecast is 60,000 and inbound is 55,000. It is marked in red because it's still on inbound, and you could track that as well. And there are some samples here, as I said, could be through water, airport, the shipments, and also the truck drivers in the road on the transit. And you click on each of these buttons, it would give the details of the ETA. And this is a sample truck that is coming to Singapore as the delivery location. And if you want, you can hide that as well. You want to show that, you could show that as well. If I click on the first one, it will list out where it is coming. It is coming towards Changi Port, where the goods are handled and downloaded. And these are the batches of those product in the real-time transit. You would see this in many logistics and retail solutions where you get the real-time tracking of the containers, where it is, and the status of that coming from US to Asia or Asia to other parts of the world. So that is what we are providing here in this app using Power Apps for you to track those details. And the same can apply to various other batches of the product that's coming to the destination. It's just a sample to show you how you could build this within the Power Apps as well. So if I click on shipment, it's going to go to another screen. It's going to list those batches and stuff like that. Now, within this, you could also create a purchase order, particularly useful when the shipment is not yet started. It's still in the cargo is still in harbor or airport, if you will, or in the truck zone, and you could quickly create a new purchase order. And that's coming to this screen, which I just talked about. Hey, I want to load some of this product, for example, Fanta or Sprite. I want to add more cartons, and I want to add more product because the container hasn't left the place. So you can quickly create a purchase order right from that screen as well. And there are some samples for other products as well where you could create a purchase order. So in this case, we just showed you how there is possibility to create those purchase order while the consignment hasn't started to move. So that kind of shows you the shipment related details. Now we move into the trip card. Trip card is used by the truck drivers and the logistics owners who can also track the consignment status. If I keep clicking on each of these trip IDs, you would see what the trip is all about, the real-time status. And of course, the truck driver has to update that when there is a change, when there is a halt, when there is a delay, when there is some concerns. And there's quite a bit of details that you could gather for the truck driver to update. And you can see the status keeps changing based on various trips. Some are in transit, some are canceled, some are been in the loading status, and some is on the road. Especially with Atlanta, it is on the road, as you can see here. What we could also see here in this menu is we could also go back and see how we could track those location using Bing Maps and TomTom mobile device. In this case, I'm using Bing Apps with Bing Maps API, also TomTom to look at the navigation point. And if I click on this particular truck, it takes me to a live feed where I could look at the locations for my delivery. In this case, it's not an intercontinental or multi country transport. I've taken an example of Atlanta in here, where the delivery would be within certain plotted points within Americas. As you can see, you could navigate this in different modes: dark light mode, satellite view, earth view, road view. And the red plots are the places where the delivery consignment has to happen. As you can see, there's contact details, there's address of that particular destination and for that delivery. Some are in Macy's, and if you go to the top here, there is another delivery location which is McD, and one here on the top which is for Walmart. And likewise, you could plot that for the driver to seamlessly use the navigation. And you also have the view of looking at where the driver is in terms of progress. You could also have a tilted view of the map just to make sure that all the details are easily available for you. And this is very useful not only for the truck drivers but also for folks who are tracking the delivery of that particular good consignment using that truck. Now we have seen quite a lot of those use cases already. What I did not cover yet, which I would cover now, is about taking the dimension of the truck. The forklift is very important. You can't just agree to a consignment assuming that some truck would fit in. It is very important for the truck drivers to give that update in terms of, hey, this is the truck that I have, and this is what it could hold within the permissible limit of that country's rules and regulations. So we're using HoloLens remote assist for the truck driver personnel to assess the size of the truck. And if I click on this one, it would take me to a 3D model where the truck driver can fill in the dimensions of that particular truck so that when the warehouse team is using the truck for ordering, they know what size of the container that they would need. Now, you could look at this either through the Power App, or you could use a HoloLens where you could tap that particular truck detail and you could see that right here. So, this is very useful in terms of remote assist providing the details of that particular truck and dimensions when they have to show these details to the people who are not at the same place. And I'm just showing it in my laptop here at the bottom, and it's using HoloLens and Remote Assist to show you the dimensions of the truck that is available. So I could go back, and you could also take measurements of those forklift as well, which is totally possible. So, so we're providing you those insights in terms of remotely getting those details of the truck dimension. This is a forklift, and there's two parts to it. One is the truck dimensions, which is very critical. However, as an add-on, you also need to know the size and the load capability of this forklift. You don't want to have an industrial accident or damage. So this is very important when it comes to using those device for loading those goods, also to unload those goods as well. And you could take a measurement of that using remote assist. So I just have to point this in a surface, and I could start measuring that as well. For example, you, I'm going to just navigate in my laptop screen and keep moving, and it would take the dimensions that I want to. So these are all the various facility that's available within the Power App. I'm not going to save that. I'm just going to leave this particular screen. But once you do the measurement, you would have the access to take those measurements into the Power App and also to share it with your fellow team or employees. What I can probably do is take a shot at it one more time so that you could see how it is registered. So I only took a size of the length. As you can see there, it's 0.07, but you could do a four-dimensional size in terms of unit and height in real time. That almost completes the entire functionalities and features that we talked about in the logistics and truck drivers app. I hope you find this use case insightful. Thank you.